Well, good morning, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Pappa's Kitchen. Well, the other day I got to thinking about lasagna. I haven't had lasagna for a long time, so I says I'll make my special lasagna. Seeing I got a hankering for it. I've been trying to get everything set up here. Oh no, it takes a little bit of time to put it together. I got the noodles over there boiling. I got my sauce all cooked down. Oh, by the way, some of the extra things I add into my sauce is ground turmeric. Back over there. And I love garlic, so extra garlic. And I like a little kick to mine, so I add some chili powder. Put in as much as you like. A few shakes, lots of shakes. And of course, I like mustard seed. So you get that in there as well. Along with some of my other ingredients, which I already went over, and we did that video quite some time ago. Better put my cap on here. I want to make myself look pretty. Alright, where am I? I'm kind of lost here. Well, I'm going to be sauteing a little bit here. Of course, you all know how much I love mushrooms, so you know that's going in there. I got probably 3 cups of it. I'm making a big batch so I can freeze it. And I got some sausage here. I got about 2 cups of that. It's your choice on what you want to get. And I got probably feels like 2 pounds of hamburger. You all know me, I'm not much about measuring things. I just remember how I do things and what I add in it. And, you know, they tell you 8 milligrams it is, 16 milligrams. Who the hell knows what the hell they're talking about? By the time you figure that all out, you're not hungry anymore and you put everything away. Well, anyway. Oh, I need some more peppers. I got some of these fat peppers. I didn't even look at the price of these. I was scared to death to even buy them. Whew. We all know about that stuff. I did pick up another thing of this olive oil, because that's on their import list to tax the hell out of it. You know, well, if I get too frustrated, I just get my golf clubs and I go out on the back lawn here, my private golf club, and just play a few rounds, you know, and that kind of takes all the problems away. Yeah, sure, most seniors do that. Now there's some talk about wanting us to get passports to be able to vote. What the hell are we coming to? Oh well. The only ones we have to blame is blame ourselves, right? Well, I remember the other day I was talking about this doodad that I picked up at Walmart. And, you know, I tried it yesterday to do some peppers. And by golly, look at that. Don't that look good? I thought for sure it was going to break. It's pretty simple to use. You just take the cover off. And, I just cut these peppers up a little bit smaller. Throw them in there. Let's try a whole pepper. Get the job done. See if it breaks. That weren't very expensive either. I thought sure it'd break on the first pull. Most everything else I buy does, so. Now it's like starting a chainsaw to run this. You pull it 50, 60 times, it don't start, then she fires. Then you, oh my God, you run it 30 seconds and it stops. And you have to do it all over again. It's just like that. For you folks out there cut wood, up here in Vermont, you know, that's a way of life. If you didn't cut wood, you froze to death in the winter. So, I don't even know what they call this. I think it's a, oh, let's see here. Food chopper. Well, ain't that a good name? I would never have thought of that. Food chopper. Wow, that guy's smart. designed also to blend ingredients. Mainstays. I don't know if that's a company or not, but cute little gadget. So we just pull on this string. Let's see if it breaks. Didn't that time. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hasn't started yet. There we go, starting to fire. Let's take a look in there and see what happened. Look at that. Unbelievable. I've tried so many of these different gadgets, you know, and of course you all know where they're at, down at the bottom of the recycling bin. Yeah, that's about what they're worth. I think this thing was only about $8. It was, compared to some of them other ones, 30, 40. I got the electric ones, all that, and all they do is clog up and catch up, and complete waste of time. What we got here? Let me get my paddle thing here. Get the rest of this out of there. Well, we're finally getting a little bit of warm weather up here. I can get out of the house a little more often. I do plan on spending some time this summer with my sister up in Woodbury, and hopefully I'm going to spend some time in the southern part of the state where I don't get down that way much. All right, so we got my pepper. Let's put this away in the refrigerator. What I need now is some couple of onions. Yep. What would lasagna be without an onion? Put that over there. I don't know what type of food that is. It must be just for mixing pudding or something. Got me. I gotta check my noodles over here. Oh yeah, they're looking good. Be a while yet, but let's see if I can. My first time trying an onion in there. Peel off all this good skin. Put it into my recycling bin so I can make vegetables out of it. I compost all my leftover food, but I never make more than I need to eat, so I don't have a lot of it. But I put my grass clippings and all that in there. We got one of these little waste bins, and it's got filtration in the top that when it gets full, I go take it out and I give it a dump. Well, them birds are chirping out there. They're loving them peanuts I threw out there yesterday. Of course, all that snow we had, they haven't had a lot of food, so I felt sorry for them. Usually I don't feed them this time of year. Okay. Now let's put the knives back in. That's all that does, is just slip right in there. It's slicker than shit. And we throw the onions in here. I'm going to try one onion this time because I haven't done onions before. Let's see how that works. See if we can mix it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. Well, looky. Even that worked, for crying out loud. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut another one and throw it right in there with it. I got to saute these. That's a bad onion. I ain't going to use that. No, just bought that 2 days ago. Yeah. You think they give me my money back? Bullshit, they would. They'd say I brought in an old one. You got your receipt for that onion? Hell no, I don't ask for a receipt. I would have had a receipt. I didn't ask you for one when I bought it. Just more damn trees we cut down. Every time you take that long piece of paper, it's got more advertising on that than cats got liver pills. I never seen such crap. Especially if you go to them drugstores. There's about 8 feet long. Filled up my whole bag. Had to leave my stuff out on the counter and lug that separate. I tend to exaggerate just a little bit now and then, but don't tell anybody. All right. Got that done. Oh yeah, I gotta cut it in half here. Let's see if it'll do the second onion right in with the first one. I keep expecting it to break any second, you know. I bought one of them $60 food choppers and that didn't last a week. 2, 3, 4. Oh, baby. Got myself a whole bowl of onions, all chopped up, nice. Yep, I would recommend this. And I don't usually recommend stuff very often. But if you can get a day out of it, it's worth the $8. Okay, so let's throw them in a thing. A wingy ding. Shake it all about. By the way, it's easy to clean too. You just rinse this off and I let it soak in a little bit of soapy water for a little while, but it doesn't have all them nooks and crannies for everything to get caught into, you know, or you have to get a toothbrush to try to get it out. If you do that, use somebody else's toothbrush and put it back. They'll never know. Ooh, I like the tears it makes. You know, I have a problem with crying, believe it or not. I don't cry. And this will actually bring tears to my eyes. I actually use special eye medication to keep my eyes from drying out. Like I can't drive over 4 hours without my eyes just sticking close. And it's because there's no lubrication. I forgot what they call that stuff, but I know it's real expensive. Thank God the VA helps me out on that. Or else I'd have to carry a bucket of water with me and just dunk my head in it once in a while. Oh well, I guess I probably should know what's in it, you know, because you start sticking stuff in your body and you don't even know what it is. You say, geez, I'm crawling. What did I do? Hope I don't go blind. All right, there's my cheese ready. Now, the sauce is done except for adding my sauteed stuff. My noodles are on slow cook. I need, what do I need? Something. Oh, stir fry pan. There. Move that over here a little bit. Give me just an inch more room. Crank this up on the least medium. And this olive oil. I just want to butter up the bottom of this with a little bit of olive oil. Just like that. Where'd my paintbrush go? Yeah, these paintbrushes work good for scraping around. Plus you can use it to paint your house when you're done with it. Yeah, and just get a new one. Of course, I got vinyl siding, so I got one of them pressure washers. I pressure wash it. You have to be careful you don't blow the siding right off the house. So some of them things are pretty damn powerful, you know. I did that out back there, and I see I was lifting the stuff right off the house. I said, holy crap, what am I doing? I'm too close. So I got me some of them old roofing nails, and I gave them a few whacks, and it went right back in place. Don't look very fancy, but still on there. But I'll fool everybody. I got some of that yellow paint. I go over there and just paint the head on it so they don't know it's there. Nobody called me a fool, that's for sure. Well, maybe my 4th grade teacher did. But I remember that one 5th grade teacher I had. Her name was Tilly Sargent. Oh, was she rough. Well, we were in 5th grade, and of course in 5th grade we have square dancing classes. And the young ladies had to change their clothes. Yeah, you know where this is going. And she said, you boys keep your heads facing forward. If you turn around and try to look at them girls changing into their clothes, you're going to get whacked. Well, you know, stupid me, I couldn't resist. My head started to turn, and I felt a whack of a 3-foot whirler right across the back of my head, and I screamed. She says, I knew you would be the one. If anybody in this class, you're just like your father. I had him in class too. He'd do the same thing. I says, oh my God. Then she took me by the shirt and hung me up in the coat room there on one of them coat hooks. I couldn't get down. Of course, back in the days, you didn't dare tell your parents anything, because you get your ass kicked even more. You know, my father was kind of a prankster. For Halloween one night, he went out to old Bill's there, got her milking cow, took her up 3 flights of stairs to the high school library, and left it there overnight. Of course, that cow shit all over the place up there. I don't know how they figured out he was the one that did it, but they come talk to him. There's one thing about my father, when they asked him something, he didn't lie to him. Yep, it was me. I think he got suspended for a few days. Plus, he had to clean up all that cow shit. But I bet you did make a few people laugh there. The problem he had was that cow went up them stairs, and no problem at all, but that cow refused to walk back down them stairs. Going up, the cow couldn't see. The problem, but going down, they'd look down and see that steep stair. No way, I'm not walking down there. I don't know how the hell he ever got that cow back out of there, but he must have. Yeah. So I guess I did get it from my father. He was kind of a wild man. He's a farmer and logger, logged with horses. Yeah, remember going up there with his horses and logging during the summer times. And those horses were really trained. Yeah. Horse's name was Queenie. When she was done work, all you had to do was tell her to go back to the barn. You didn't even have to lead her down there. She'd go right to her stall. There. Whew. Well, this is going to take me a little time to get this all salted up. I don't know what you want to say here and watch me cook this, but... I'd kick her up a notch or I ain't never going to get done today. Because a lot of this meat too is going to cook when I bake it, because I'm going to bake it for an hour at 375 degrees. I'm going to cover it up for the first 45 minutes and then take her back out and cheese up the top a little bit and put it back in with paper with aluminum foil on. Let her brown up. Okay, so I'll be back in a little while and we'll put this together. Well, I guess I'm back. Well, trying to set this up so it's easier for me to work on. Guess I'll move my sauce over closer. Now, you're probably wondering why I make so much sauce, but what I like to do is make a lot of sauce, and whatever I don't use, I freeze it. For if I want to make a quick dish of spaghetti or something, I got my sauce all made, and I just take it out of the freezer. Save some time and steps. Well, I put some olive oil of this on the bottom of my pans. I like to do that to help keep it from sticking a little bit. I got one of these doodads to scoop it out. Now, these actually come with a canner set, but they got a nice big bucket on it, so that's what I like about it. First, I'm going to coat the bottom with the sauce. And I got one of these smoother uppers. Smooth it all around. The bottom's all covered. And then my noodles, I'm just going to spread them out on the bottom. I buy the cheap ones so they don't come apart as great as some of the more expensive ones. Just need to cool them off a little bit more. I've rinsed them once, but I was thinking there the other day about my Uncle Freddie. My Uncle Freddie was a tail gunner during World War II. He was a small stature of a man, kind of skinny, so he could fit in one of them small gunner things there, just about the size of a wash tub. It's not very big. Well, he ended up getting shot down over Germany. He happened to make it from behind enemy lines all the way back to just where his troops were. And they put him right back to work, of course. Guess they didn't have that many skinny people. And I'll be damned if he didn't get shot down again over Germany. Well, this time, Uncle Freddie got captured by the Germans. And they put him into a concentration camp. Somewhere in Germany, I'm not sure where. And of course, Grandma got a message from the War Department saying he was missing in action, presumed dead. Well, that didn't go over very well with the family, but turns out there my mother worked at the Bijou Theater there in Morrisville. And before they used to show the picture show, they had a lady that played the piano and they played the news. Because, you know, back then nobody had television sets to speak of, unless you were the Trump family. And she happened to be working there. She was cleaning the building there, but while they were showing the newsreels, and she looked up and she saw her son, Freddie. And she started screaming like hell. So the theater come and got her and took her out of the theater and asked her what was wrong. She said, "That's my son, Freddie. They just liberated a camp there in Germany." And she saw him. She said, "I'm sure it was him." She said, "Well, after the picture show, you stay and we'll run that film back for you. And we can see if it really is him." Well, of course it was. And he was alive. But he was skin and bones. There weren't nothing left to him. He was sitting there on that film. I guess he was smoking a cigarette. Because the troops, I don't know which troops liberated that camp, but it's one of the ones. Could have been the Russians for all I know. But that didn't matter as long as they knew he was alive. It took him almost 3 months to get himself back home. And by the time he got home, he was a little more fattened up than what he was. But that was quite the thing. My Uncle Freddie never talked about it much. I don't know, he was scared the hell out of him, I guess. I guess it would you and me too. Some of those Nazis weren't very nice back then, were they? Well, let's see. Now I'm going to add a little bit of cottage cheese. Spread it out over here a little bit, and there, here and there. You don't have to coat the whole thing, just spot weld it. Another one over here. Another one over here. Put that over there. Next thing I got is ricotta cheese. Whole milk ricotta. Of course, I got the store-bought brand on this too. It's about the only thing I can afford to buy. I can't buy even to try to buy Cabot now. It's gone way up out of sight. Oh well. That's why I haven't been doing a lot of cooking shows. I can't afford to buy the groceries. This is that ricotta. We're going to dab some of that through different places. Same thing, you just put it here and there and everywhere. A little puddle of it. It'll all bake in, mix in. Now this is a super big pan too, so it takes a lot of ingredients when you do one this size. There's that. We'll put this aside. And now my cheese sprinkle. Again, I usually buy Cabot, but I had to buy that Price Chopper store brand. It all works. I just don't think it's the quality of some of the local farms we have here, I think got a lot better stuff if you can afford to buy it. Now I'm just sprinkling this cheese all over that layer. I like cheese, you know I like cheese, so I'm not that sparing with that. All right, first layer. Let's work on the second. See how good them vegetables turned out in there? All those onions, mushrooms, sausage, hamburger. Wow. About as pretty as pretty could be. Well, you can see that, but boy, that's looking good, isn't it? I got room for one more layer if I'm lucky. See what happens here. See how well I can spread my noodles. My noodle always gives me trouble. They stick. If you got a sticky noodle, there ain't much you can do about it. Except buy the good stuff, you won't have to go through all this. But this tastes pretty much the same. As long as she gets on there, that's all that matters. Now I'll use these all up. I got another small pan so I can make up another little one to bake. Then when they all cool off in good shape, I'm going to take and freeze them up for lunches. So when I get this baked, I'll come back and show you what she looks like. All right? Papa Keith here saying, see you a bit. Well, there she is. Lasagna. Don't that look good? And I had so much that I made a second batch over here. What I'll do is freeze them. Yep.